it's not moving. So the chest cavity, especially in the baby, doesn't rotate. You'll see more of this, elbows back. And when that elbow back, this is where the CP starts coming in. You'll see the shoulders more so forward than the elbows back, versus that being able to interact and go to and from. Or you'll see this, where the elbows always stay in front of the shoulder and then they can't go back. So you'll get that kind of thing. So if the child's more like this, but also what's happening is the midline is very stiff, for lack of a better word. And so with this, I can't cross midline. Now I can, but for baby, the sternum, and you'll see that all chest rotation, that's the crossing midline. And that's going into crawling and all of those kind of things. But if the chest is here, you can go dangle, they'll do this and they'll do this, but they're not going to do, because that's, all this is synchronized and they can do that. So, but when she's tired, she doesn't want to be fed something, you're going to see some of this. That's okay. Yeah. But a typical baby should be able to go in and out of those patterns instead of it being just habitual or natural for them to do. Okay. So, but I'm just going to show you the assessment. We're all going to assess each other this afternoon. So, but I'm just here. Now notice I'm not lifting your shoulder off the ground or anything like that. And then I'm just coming here. Now, if it's hard to get up under someone's elbow, I'm going to add the wrist into it too. But again, I can tell how much she wanted to help me. So that already, but that already gauges where I'm going to go with that person. So I'm just counter and counter. See how the elbow goes in and out of the wrist? I'll be explaining this the whole weekend, guys. So if you don't get it on the first shot, and like I said, there's Madison here. You can play on me. You can play on other people. So I'm just here, just checking her out. Now, I'm not going to necessarily be able to go do full pelvis with a grown adult. So what I'll do is I can either come this way and look, or I can come underneath and just see where she's at. And you see, she's already getting feedback just from this little bit. Now notice the difference too, just so you feel it, because you're up here. This, if I just touched you. Do you see how I'm just touching you? But if I go like this, do you see how already that it's going through your body, or what I refer to as a system?
What's your left hand doing, Michelle?
I'm just getting an access point somewhere in the hip cavity. So I wouldn't do this just because it's just a bit too personal. You can come here depending on someone's weight or underneath. But again, I'm just looking for that counter from the hip to the knee. Now here, I'm just... Now the bolster is going to give me a little bit of feedback too, so you just have to be open to it. But you can feel already the difference between your right foot and your left. Again, if she disagreed with me, I can just go back, but see, I can't counter that foot out. Whereas here, again, nice little simple touch. You see how I can, that heel at least will present out. And I'm just going to come here, under the knee. What's so funny?
It's just the lack of movement that I feel in my body when you do it.
Yeah, but as a baby, even just that little foot, or we can play with you, you would naturally get up one side better than the other. Now, you might be able to force through it, but a baby then would only go through the one side. The way she was rolling over at first, that child, and I'm sorry, I'm so bad with names, so forgive me, she just would never have rolled over that one side, because the other side would have continued to get more successful. Why fall down? She would only gone through. And maybe a mother's not even aware that they can only roll, because they only see rolling over because there's no assessments versus, oh yeah, you're right, they don't roll to the left, they only go to the right. So you have to just be open to more things. Or like my son who's had 25 surgeries, like where do you want to begin? Well, I don't want to scare someone off that they're never going to work with him because he's got a laundry list. Or your kids, how many days have they been in ICU and stuff just from seizures? I mean,
lots.
You know. But they don't need anybody to feel sorry for them. They want the compassion to have a lesson, not, to be.
So when you're giving the assessment, you're actually feeling the rotation, how
Or lack
easy
of
it
it.
is.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought you were,
Yeah.
that's why I was laughing.
Is it kind of like each joint kind of section of?
It's a joint, but what I'm looking for is the balance and counterbalance. To sit there and just expect like an elbow joint.
Right.
That is anatomically correct, and I'm looking at my muscle functions. But see, when the ulna swings around the humerus, look at what the wrist does. All of this needs rotation for me to feed myself, for me to come down, to look at my watch. Every function we do should include rotation. Now, I get it that in some cases, I should be able to get up and rise without rotation, but that is an adult function. But for an infant or a baby or a toddler, they need those kind of movements in their body. And in your case where you have a spinal fusion, then what you have to offer, or it's better for them if they have extra rotation than normal in the chest cavity or in the feet to counter where the fusion took place. Because since twisting's not there, like when he was young and couldn't look through his neck because of the spinal fusion, there just needed to be more from the pelvis. So it can offer him where he could be visually stimulated off to the side, as an example. If she had a hip replacement, there's no way I'm going to get movement through the hip. It'd be like giving this table a movement lesson. But again, I would make sure that her feet are more supple or her chest cavity is more supple to get around the artificial hip. But for me to say go take it out is completely unrealistic. She's not getting her bones back. And see, now I can just walk underneath your head. Again, I'm just appreciating your movements. But now I can go back. Just from doing that, I'm just curious to see what just that little bit, and now she knows what she's to be expected, has done to her foot. So see already the difference in the foot, just from doing an assessment. But this is where, now in her case, to answer your question from before, she was pretty good all over except for this ankle. So, and especially since she's just there giving herself to me, then I can come back over to the ankle. And just, there we go. Now, would she benefit now from a whole lesson to integrate all of this? Absolutely. But at least see already the twisting and how it's going through the spine. Just this assessment alone, what it's done to offer at least interest and change into her system. Can you feel that?
I can feel that. And some feedback.
Mm-hmm.
My left knee, just before you worked on my neck, was going like zinging with pain. I mean, it wasn't, when I'm talking about pain, I'm not talking about horrible pain, but I could feel right in my kneecap a pain.
Yeah.
And it's subsiding now, but it was just like, oh, okay, where'd that come from?
And her color has changed. Look at her face.
Yeah.
So how does this relate to the fascia? Have you,
Everything.
okay.
But the human body, I don't know why it's been described as such. And again, we'll go into more detail of that either this afternoon or tomorrow. But we have a cardiovascular system, a respiratory system, a myofascial system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What I'm introducing is that the system mechanics, there's an overall system that helps all of this work. So when you talk to the system in rotation, you're automatically changing all of that. Not just one part. So for example, even when I'm working on just your ankle here, I'm not sitting there. See, I'm not poking. Do you feel the difference?
Mm-hmm.
This is touch. Do you see how the spine stopped, all of that? Now I can just stay with that and see now if I just add that rotational with it. Can you feel the difference in your body? Okay. Versus me just touching.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't. Didn't
So
even-
this, to me, is just a way of working with the system mechanics. Now here, if I wanted to go in now and I wanted to stimulate more muscle function, I can. But for me to just sit there and do a compression, do you see how you're not learning?
No, I absolutely agree.
Can you see how you're learning?
Mhm.
Just from them. Now, this is getting out of a booth better, out of the car. Now, if someone can't, again, cross midline, I'll be introducing a lot of midlines through like the knee and stuff. If she can't cross midline here, she's not going to get out of the passenger side. She's going to start doing what older people do. And they slide, they slide, they slide until their knees present out, and then they get out of a car.
I don't want to do that.
No. My mom.
Actually, my sacrum has relaxed, and that's what I woke up with this morning. So,
But again, see what I do for her as I did for the baby. I counter. So she gets my system as well as hers. If I sat here like this and just, this is like pumping water out of a well. It's just not, but if I go here, I'm just playing with her. There you go. So see, this is where the baby starts coming in. See, I can just bounce her if I wanted to. So with that, I'll take this out. So now if I came over like this and I'm not as threatening, I can sit there now if I wanted to work with her chest cavity and get in, or just here, just like with the baby. The difference, if I did the assessment again now, see, I can do all of these moves. I go after the details, much rather. But with this, now she's putty with me. I can just play all day. She's like, the camera went away, all this, she's just fine. You know, sit. Again, I can work on the feeding skills. So. But
it
notice,
feels good and it's not threatening.
no, but my touch is that light. Now for the baby, I would be like this. But even this one, it looks like I'm doing, you know, there's no pressure in here. But again, because I have rotation, her system's letting me in. If I don't have rotation, then it's like the Heimlich maneuver, or I'm doing CPR. But if I do rotation, see already where it goes. There you go.
I'm talking back to you.
No, but your system should work.
No, I'm sorry. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
My stomach started.
Yeah,
Okay.
but this is how you can get into the myofascia or those things that you're interested in a much quicker, more efficient manner. I do very little of where I'm in like this with the fingers. One of the things that I'll be showing you is, again, what I call is going after real estate. But in this position now, I can decide, let's say if she was looking down at her shoes, where more of my pinky goes into that rotation through the palm to do it, versus per se where I'm grabbing onto her, trying to rotate. So I'm going to show you how my hand goes here or offers a rotation around it, and then also myself. So that's why I'm here. I'm against the table. You'll see me in the videos with the kids where I'm actually like knee up on the table, because I want to be where I'm not, see if I'm here, see how you have less information from me? Same thing here, feel the difference. See how the less muscles I use, and I can get in and offer, even though it doesn't look like I'm not rotating, I go all the way back, my arms, if I was showing you more of that movement, but I'm doing it like from here.
You're not doing it to me, you're doing it with me.
Right, right.